'Tis the season to be baking and cooking delicious foods for your family and friends. This year we might be having smaller get-togethers, but that doesn't mean you can't have a scrumptious meal. So in this video I'm making delicious melt-in-your-mouth Turkish beef ribs. This is part of my full Turkish meal. I will be adding the other recipes that are included in the meal shortly. So let's get straight to it. For the beef ribs, we have 1 kilogram of beef ribs. You can use either one uncut portion of beef ribs or have them chopped up as I have done. I find this easier to serve. If you don't want beef ribs, you can also make this recipe with lamb. Just reduce the baking time. Cut away any of the excess fat on the ribs, rinse and pat dry the ribs. Add 70 grams of unsalted butter at room temperature. Rub this into the ribs well to coat thoroughly. The ribs should have a nice even coating of butter when you're done. Next we need a 1/4 cup of olive oil, or use extra virgin olive oil. Add this to a small bowl. To this, add 2 generous teaspoons of mild chili powder or Kashmiri red chili powder, and also 2 generous teaspoons of sweet paprika. Turkish sweet red pepper is preferred for this recipe. Use this if you have it. To this, we're also going to add 2 teaspoons of whole black peppercorns. Give this a good mix, and then add it to your beef ribs. Next, add 1/2 cup of whole garlic cloves. It's best to use the tinier variety of garlic cloves. If you don't have this and are using larger garlic cloves, it's best to slice them vertically before adding. Next, we want to add salt to taste, around 1 1/4 teaspoons for 1 kilo of beef. I'm using Himalayan salt crystals. So I'm just going to give that a good rub till all the ingredients are coating the beef ribs well. And we also want some fresh herbs, 6 small sprigs of fresh thyme, and 4 small sprigs of fresh rosemary. Rosemary has quite a strong aroma, so you don't want to use more than 4 small sprigs. Give those ribs a final massage, and then we need to marinate this for quite some time. Cover this and marinate it for at least 5 hours, or preferably overnight in the fridge. If you're marinating in the fridge, remove from the fridge 30 minutes before baking. And when it's time to do so, preheat your oven to 120 degrees Celsius, 250 degrees Fahrenheit. So my beef ribs have been marinating overnight, and I left them on the countertop for 30 minutes to come back to room temperature. And I'm getting ready to bake them. Place the beef ribs on a heavy-duty sheet of foil over a baking tray. And you want to wrap this tightly and securely, and we want to do a double layer of foil wrap. So I'm doing that again. Make sure you wrap tightly and securely so that none of those delicious juices escape during the baking process. Place this baking tray over a wire rack in the middle rack of the oven, with a tray of water placed on a lower rack or below to provide steam. And this keeps the ribs moist and prevents them from cooking dry. Bake for 3.5 hours on this low temperature, and top off the water as needed. After 3.5 hours, remove from the oven and carefully unwrap. Lots of juices will run out. Reserve this. Delicious melt-in-your-mouth, fall off the bone beef ribs are ready. So you can serve this by plating the beef ribs and pouring over the reserved juices. And if you have excess of this, you can also make a quick sauce, but that's totally optional. And to make this optional sauce, heat up the remaining oils and liquid in the foil. And to this, add a little bit of flour to prepare a roux. And to this, you can either add milk or even chicken stock or beef broth, whatever you prefer. And just thicken it and simmer till it's a nice consistency. Season if required, and you can either serve this over the beef ribs or on the side. And it's completely optional, as I mentioned before. This goes great with our complete Turkish meal consisting of delicious chicken kapama rice. Now, this is a spectacular meal that you can make during this festive season. It's quite easy to prepare and it looks great on the table. And we're also serving the rice with 2 yogurt-based dips, roasted eggplant and yogurt dip, as well as a minty thick yogurt dip. I will be adding these recipes very soon, so don't miss them. I hope you enjoyed the quick video recipe. Thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas, everyone.